Hello, and welcome to the Using Maps to Make Selections in Social Explorer tutorial. I am Paul Byrne, Research Data Services Librarian at Syracuse University Libraries. What we will cover in this tutorial is using the maps in Social Explorer to select geographies for reports, using the point tool, using the circle tool, and generating and modifying reports. Let's take a look. When you first come into Social Explorer, this is the screen that you'll see. For this tutorial, we're going to click on Maps instead of Tables. And from here, we'll click on Start Here. You don't want to use the old version for this. And it'll take a moment to load. At this point, we want to use the Map feature to select several small geographies like census tracts or block groups to create tables and reports. So the first thing we need to do is to come up all the way over here to the top right and click on this icon and then select Create Report. The first thing you need to do is to select a survey, and they have all of the census surveys and all the ACS, etc. For right now, we'll just stick with the 2010 census. Then you need to select a topic, and they have several pre-made reports just like we saw in the previous tutorial. It doesn't really matter which one you select right now because you'll always be able to go back and change what tables you want. So for now, we'll just stick with the Essentials report. And now you need to select one or more geographic areas. To do that, come up here to the top left and enter some kind of an address, a street address, a zip code, or the name of a city. For right now, we'll enter Syracuse, New York. We'll click on Place, and you can see it zooms right into the center of Syracuse, New York. Now we can start selecting our specific geographies. To do so, we'll come up here and select what type of geography we want, whether they have state, county, census place, census tract, or census block group. We'll stick with census block group for now. You can also select using either the point feature or the circle feature. Right now we'll stick with point, and we'll talk about using the circle in a few moments. So now we can zoom in a little bit, and as you see, you start getting the street names, and as you hover over a block group, you get the label, and you can see this very faint white outline of that particular block group. Now at this point, if you want to select one, you just click on it. And you see it gets shaded and added to the list over here. So we'll just select a couple more. And let's say one more. Now if you decide that you actually didn't want one of these, you could just click on it again and it undoes it. Or you can come over here and click on the X to deselect it. Let's put that one back in for the moment. You can mix and match geographies. So we'll come back up here and select census place, which is roughly equivalent to a city. Let's zoom out a bit so we can see better. Now we can click on Syracuse. And you see that it gets added to our list over here. Once you've made all of your geographic selections, you come down here to Create Report and click on it. And it'll take a moment, and there we have our report. You can see geographies 1 through 5 of 6, so let's add that last one in. You can see that we have all the block groups that we selected plus the city of Syracuse, New York. At this point, you can go back and change the geographies. Most likely what you want to do, though, is change the tables. So we can come down here and let's take all of these out, and let's just put back in population density and land area. Click Add and Show Results. And there we have our new table with the tables that we wanted and the geographies that we selected using the map feature. Let's go back to the map, and if you decide that you want to start all over again, you can just come down here and click Reset, and everything is changed. Let's talk about using the circle to select geographies. We'll zoom in, and we'll change to, let's say, census tract this time. And we'll click on Circle. You put your cursor wherever you want the center of your selection to be. Hold down the left mouse key and then just drag. And you see it draws a circle for you. And it tells you the radius of that circle as well, which is very convenient. And then release. Now, as you can see, let's zoom out a little bit. You can see this is not a circle. What the circle does is it selects every geography that is touched by the circle, not just anything within the circle itself. So let's open that up again so you can see. You can see even though some of these census tracts only very slightly within the circle, they still got selected. Of course, you can always go back to the point feature and deselect ones that you don't actually want. Again, once you've selected everything, you come back over to Create Report, and you get your tables back. Of course, now that you've changed all your geographic selections and regenerated the report, you'll have to go back and decide what tables you want again. And that, in a nutshell, is how you can use the map feature to select geographies in Social Explorer. Thank you. We welcome your comments and suggestions. Our contact information can be found on the web page.